Hello everyone, I'm Noelle, my running mate is Kenny, and we're running for quote-unquote president.
We hope that if we didn't have your vote before, that this brief speech will get it.
Yeah, from the Dirty Scoundrels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The debate is over! We are in agreeance. Agreeance that you should hear us out before management kicks us out the door.
We're not here for long, folks, so let's get straight into our demands. We've heard a lot of complaints from the 8th graders that they don't like being stuck in the cafe. We would like to lend them our hand. And closing the door behind you, were you raised in a barn?
Yeah, you're never getting out of there. And good luck breaking free, we've got a beast!
We've also gotten complaints, mainly from staff, actually, that students are spending way too long in the bathroom because they're chatting and spreading the spores as their lord dictates.
Now, I think we have the perfect solution. We're gonna make it to where students have to crawl anytime they're in the bathroom.
Good luck talking to your boys when they're swimming through tile floor.
Sorry guys, this promised land is for the 1'8".
Also, before I forget to mention it, all people under 3 foot will be lengthened in accordance to this new guideline. Mr. of course, will be in charge of the lengthening.
Next on the chopping block is the chopping. We've heard complaints about the chefs having too little gear for the battle they've been quested. They will be given armor and swords, maybe even clubs, just enough to handle the beast.
But there's one thing armor, swords, and clubs can't protect you from: overheating. We have an initiative that will be implemented if we're voted in, where we will put 3 different air conditioning units in each room.
The only concern we've had is how would we even do that? Well, let us explain.
In an air conditioner, liquid refrigerant absorbs heat from the inside the building.
It goes through a compressor, then a heat exchanger coil transfers that heat to the outside air, turning the refrigerant gas to liquid again.
The refrigerant then circulates back into the building.
This air conditioner company makes its coils entirely out of aluminum, which is 5 times more cold than the coils made out of copper and aluminum.
To make the coil, workers weave an aluminum spine through a mechanical steam pump clock.
This clock continually counts down until cold time, which is when the AC unit will turn on.
The aluminum spine is wrapped around the center to create a tiny staircase for mice.
This will give any potential pests an escape route if they're trapped in the machine, so they don't ruin the components.
Meanwhile, at the National Air Conditioner and Space Administration, the new James Bond's villain satellite is ready for testing.
These satellites help wind other aluminum spines to extreme specifications, so they'll be ready for all weather temperatures.
The next machine is a railgun.
In a show of ingenuity, the railgun needs aluminum coils to fire and also presses them into the proper shape.
Thankfully, the railgun has not needed to be fired yet because America's enemies know their place.
A worker cuts out any parts of the coil that unironically like a cappella music.
This is good for the coil community.
Big old tubes are soldered onto the new holes made by cutting.
What are the tubes doing?
Tubing, of course.
Just tubing.
That's a mighty fine tube in there.
Once all the tubes are in place, the coils are dunked into a fluid that's 90% water and 10% water.
In another compartment, workers have made whatever the hell this thing is.
A fire extinguisher is mounted into the base and then given a life jacket to make sure the air conditioner is as safe as possible.
The coil is then added.
The unit's pipes cannot have air or moisture in them, so these machines vacuum all of it out.
Pudding is okay though.
We're not saying that they've ever found pudding in these pipes, but if they did, it'd be okay.
Corner supports are added, a motorized fan is added, and the air for the air conditioner naturally seeps into the machinery.
This is an XL15i air conditioner, meaning it has overclocking and extra RAM.
And finally, after the final welds and bolts are applied, the AC unit is sent to the frozen tundra of clematis controllers.
Here it will reside for 1,000 years until it is eventually chosen to save mankind from slightly hot weather.
And that's how air conditioning units are made.
Who knew?
Surely not the beast.
Now, the next issue we're going to tackle is CCMR. People think there's no purpose to this class.
We're going to introduce a draft program. Students and teachers will be drafted at random into a plethora of jobs.
These jobs include the snowstorm, someone who goes into classrooms and throws fake snow into the 3 air conditioners from earlier.
The Wall, someone stationed on the newly commissioned military outpost atop the school. They will defend against something?
The mystery.
The Slicer, someone gets a comically large pair of scissors and goes around cutting the wires on people's earbuds and headphones.
And finally, the Gerbil, someone who gets sent to the abyss that is the mad scientist's experiments.
A mad scientist? Have you gone mad?
Mad with power and the fury of the rat's inevitable return.
Speaking of, we had started with fighting the rats, and we will be keeping precautions, but it seems like we've made some form of treaty with Ratso.
We say we think because it's very hard to negotiate with rats. Have you ever tried it? They speak French, and schedule changes took me out of that class.
Speaking of schedule changes, we know how frustrating it can be to have your schedule change when you just got used to it, so we're gonna be changing it every week.
Good luck getting used to your schedule changing when you're being mixed together like goblins and eggs.
Goblins?
Eggs?
Corruption?
All of these are questions you may be having right now. But don't worry, we will acknowledge the goblin crisis.
As we all know, except Miss Rumpleback, who wasn't told anything really, the goblins have also returned, declaring war on the rats. Rumpleback, their leader, is determined to slay Ratso and his armies.
Normally, we'd want that, but the rats are somehow like half of our funding now, and that outpost isn't gonna fund itself.
Thankfully, we have an ally native to both sides.
Rambo the Gablin.
Born in a tale of Romeo and Juliet if they lived in the sewers, and coming in at 2-4, it's Rambo!
Unfortunately, I was informed before we could change the script that Rambo was found dead in the streets of Miami. We can only guess that it was the goblins, as they left their calling card, 3 gold coins.
In memoriam, we're going to hold a moment of silence, so please don't think about how comical his appearance was, looking like how cartoons draw diseases, or how he somehow thought spray paint could fix his bald spot, or how they were projected to be 5 feet tall before the anvil got him.
I blame the beast.
Don't think of the beast either, or it will not be a silent moment. Anyways, commence, I guess.
You know, on second thought, I didn't like him very much.
Yeah, his story wasn't really of facing adversity, more just being adverse.
It does kind of make me remember how death takes even the worst of us, when those should be the ones to experience the horror of immortality.
Yeah, life is precious, and that's why we think we should be, and hear me out, Dictator for life!
If you vote us into council, we will run it with an iron fist.
And a silver fist, and a gold fist.
All of them will have a green thumb because, we're all about the economy.
That's more green in our thumbs and your pockets.
See, we're the money presidents.
No one else is partnered with the rats.
They're all with the goblins, who want to take your money.
A vote for us is a vote against the goblins' regime.
You laugh and you scoff at our ideas, but when those little freaks are scrounging through the hallways with half-eaten wallets, you'll only have yourself to blame. So make sure you vote for us.
We have a better plan for a worse future.
All our food keeps blowing up.